She offered you a slice, and you smiled, said yes. It was sweet, cold, familiar, the kind of treat you never question. But something is happening after 60. These three fruits, once seen as healthy, are now quietly linked to brain fog, confusion, and memory slips. And the worst part? You don't feel it at first, not until someone else notices. If you're over 60, this matters. Because what you eat now can shape how clearly you think tomorrow. No, it's hard to believe that something as innocent as fruit could be connected to forgetfulness, hesitation, even fear. But when I saw the research and what it did to someone I care about, I knew I had to speak up. You deserve clarity. And you deserve to know the truth. Linda was 74. Every morning, she had a routine. She'd open the curtains, pour a small bowl of birdseed, and step quietly toward the window where the red cardinals were always waiting. By 7 a.m., she'd hum an old melody, one she used to sing to her daughter, now softened by time, scatter the seeds and whisper, "Good morning," like they were old friends. But last week, something shifted. She stood there, seeds in hand, and the song simply disappeared. She couldn't recall the tune, nor what day it was. The birds still came, but Linda felt strangely out of sync, like the rhythm of the morning had fallen apart. That evening on the phone with her daughter, she paused mid-sentence and forgot the name of her own street. Just for a moment, but long enough to scare them both. What her daughter found later, hidden in plain sight, was sitting right there in their own kitchen. Let's take a look. Bananas. They seem so harmless. Soft, sweet, familiar, especially when they're very ripe, with those brown spots and extra mushy texture. That's the kind Linda kept in her fruit bowl. They were easy to chew, gentle on her stomach, and felt like the kind of food you didn't have to think twice about. But here's what almost no one tells people over 60. As bananas ripen, their sugars become more concentrated, and that concentrated sugar, when eaten regularly, can quietly work against the aging brain. Imagine a slow-burning ember inside your mind. Each sugary spike, especially from overripe fruit, is like tossing a little fuel onto a dot inside the brain. Sudden spikes in glucose can trigger something called neuroinflammation, a silent process that interrupts memory circuits and weakens the connections that help you think clearly. You don't notice it. You just start forgetting why you walked into a room, or struggle to recall a name you've known for decades. Linda thought she was making a smart choice, but day by day, bite by bite, she was feeding the fog. The next food felt like a smarter choice: frozen grapes. Cold, sweet, and convenient, especially during the summer. Linda kept a bowl in the freezer for her grandkids. Sometimes she'd grab a few for herself too. Better than ice cream, she'd say with a smile. But what she didn't know is this: grapes, especially when frozen and eaten quickly, deliver a dense dose of fructose, without the fiber that usually helps slow sugar absorption. That sharp sugar hit doesn't just raise your energy. It sends a surge into your bloodstream, and from there, directly to your brain. And when that happens often, it creates something scientists call oxidative stress, a silent, internal reaction that slowly wears down your neurons, making memory slower, fuzzier, more fragile. In people over 60, this can show up as misplaced names, missed appointments, or that quiet feeling that something's just off. Linda wasn't eating candy, but her brain couldn't tell the difference. The third fruit looked bright, smelled fresh, and felt like something made for happy moments. Pineapple. Juicy, golden, tropical. Linda used to serve it on Sundays, straight from the can. It was simple, sweet, and her granddaughter loved it. And that thick syrup it came in, she barely thought about it. Just a little extra flavor, she told herself. But what the label didn't say was this: that syrup was more than just sugar. It often contained high fructose corn syrup, preservatives, and citric acid, a harsh mix for aging bodies, and even more so for aging brains. These ingredients can cause quick spikes in insulin, followed by sudden drops, leaving the brain struggling To stay balanced, researchers now link these sharp sugar swings to lapses in short-term memory. Things like forgetting names, missing a step in your routine, or standing in front of the medicine cabinet and wondering why you opened it. Linda thought she was giving her family a treat, but without realizing it, she was giving her brain something much harder to handle. Each spoonful made recovery just a little more difficult. After just 1 week without those 3 fruits, Linda began to notice something subtle, but real. It wasn't a miracle. There was no sudden burst of clarity or energy, but there was a steadiness, a calm returning to her thoughts. Her mind didn't feel tangled anymore. She could finish a sentence without stopping to search for words. Her mornings felt longer, as if time had stopped slipping through her fingers. She remembered to feed the birds. And that morning, she quietly hummed the melody she thought she'd lost. The fog didn't vanish all at once, but something opened. A little more light came through. It wasn't just about memory. It was about recognizing herself again, feeling in rhythm with the day, feeling like Linda. What if your brain isn't failing, but simply asking for less noise? And what if one small change, like removing 3 harmless fruits, could clear the path back to yourself? If something in this story felt familiar, if it made you pause, leave a comment. Tell me what resonated. Sometimes, saying it out loud is the first step to healing. And if there's someone you love, someone who's been a little more forgetful lately, share this with them, because they might be feeling the fog too, but afraid to say it out loud. In the next video, we'll explore 3 silent habits that protect your brain after 60, and why it's never too late to start.